Hey, what's up, YouTube world? Agent Lex back again. Survivor Game Changers premiered last Wednesday, and I want to talk about it. But first, just a quick heads up if you're wondering where my rank down videos have been. I've been experiencing some software issues from my computer. I don't use a lot of good equipment, so my data got corrupted, and I had to start from scratch a couple times. So that's why my videos have been taking a while to get uploaded, but they are coming. They are still in the works of being done, so stay tuned for those. In the meantime, I thought we could talk about our premiere of Game Changers and how that went. So I think it's kind of funny in Game Changers that despite this being a cast that's supposed to be, you know, the strongest strategist, a team that, you know, pushed the envelope in terms of the strategy of Survivor. These are the players that did that the best. There's a lot of bad mistakes done by a lot of these casts, like a lot of them. Just to go through them, Ty was one of them. I said in my cast reaction video that Ty had an issue with communication. That was his biggest weakness. It's something he consistently seems to struggle at, and that seemed to be the case here when he let it slip to Cirie that spoiler alert, Ozzy has it out for her still 8 years later after she got him voted out. Another weird mistake, Ozzy is still holding a grudge against Cirie 8 years later after she got him voted out in Fans versus Favorites. Big shock there, but it's not like Ozzy's been known to have good strategies, so... Michaela, another one who made a weird blunder. She, when it came down to the Sierra vote, they had to give her a name. They threw out Michaela, just the name they threw out at her. And they explained it to her, and she still got kind of weirdly upset about it, to the point where players were giving it more thought than they were originally, because she had to open her mouth and start complaining about it. So, don't really know what it is with all these people making really bad mistakes for these supposed strong strategic players. God, there was a lot more of them. I mean, everything Tony did basically, but I'm not surprised about that. I noticed there was a lot of comments made about Sandra, about a lot of comments around the lines of, this is how she does it, this is how she wins, this is why she's a two-time winner. I'm actually we all knew it was going to be this big giant target on Sandra's back because she is the two-time winner. I think we're all kind of know that she's most likely not going to win a third time. But I'm really kind of shocked and disappointed that so many people are letting it cloud their judgment really badly. A lot of people were saying, yeah, this is how Sandra does it. This is how she manipulates him. This is how she wins. This is why she's a two-time winner. When she started, gathering alliances together when she got wind that Tony had it out for her. And I just found that funny because Sandra is not that type of player. The type of Sandra we saw in Game Changers was not the same Sandra that we've seen play twice before. Sandra's not a person that likes to team up with big threats or loud players like Tony or Malcolm. She's not a player who, is trying to be the biggest or the best. She's not a player who's trying to be, make herself seen or heard. And I don't think she would have played that way. In fact, it seemed like she was kind of trying to play that way, except Tony kind of forced her hand to the point where she had to play a little bit aggressive. And I thought that was really interesting in this premiere because, Sandra has shown that she can be loud and abrasive when she wants to be, but she's never let that interfere with her actual strategy, not that I can remember. And she really did, and so it was really interesting when just seeing her push to this point where she had to be more abrasive, she had to be a lot bigger, she had to play more aggressively in order to get rid of Tony. I actually found that to be very interesting to watch and fun to watch. But again, a lot of people are making these comments about, oh yeah, this is how she does it, this is how she wins. Not really. I just think Sandra was forced to play that way. Just to hear a bunch of players like watch her like play that game and just being like, there she goes again, doing the whole Sandra thing. I just found it to be very kind of silly. So I mean, you know, that's just me. Yeah, just little weird things like that just slipped by a lot of these big time players. Overall, I guess we can say that this has been a pretty underwhelming premiere so far. It's no big surprise. 20 players, big names, big personalities. It's going to be very difficult to get all of them in you know, a single 1 hour an episode deal. So not really a whole lot happened worth mentioning overall. But except for the one key thing that we all know I'm talking about, and that was the Sandra versus Tony incident. I don't find it very surprising that Tony played the way he did. Again, in my cast reaction video, I talked a little bit about Tony, and I said Tony was not a good player. I don't find him to be a very good player, and I said I think he's going to get voted out early because he's a super aggressive player, and he's got a super aggressive personality. And he's not going to be able to hide the reputation that he did in Cagayan. And by episode 2, he was voted out for playing too aggressively and having the same personality, having the reputation he did in Cagayan. So, big surprise. I really did think Tony did have a good shot to play really well if he was a little more subtle with his moves, if he was a little more quiet with his moves. But I just knew Tony wasn't the kind of guy to do that, and he showed in the show that he wasn't. He's not. The very first thing he did at camp was scream out, "All right, I'm going for the immunity idol," and just ran off screaming, and it was just downhill from there for Tony. And again, it's no big shocker because a lot of the reasons I find him to be a poor player, despite being a winner, is because of what we saw in Game Changers. He's he loves calling the attention on himself. He makes pointless, stupid, big, loud, abrasive decisions that he doesn't have to. And he's just too goofy. He's you know, just watching him, you know, build a spy bunker next to where people were going to be hanging out, and then people start approaching him. He's being all CIA agent, and he's like crawling around in the dirt, all like super dramatically. It's just really silly and dumb, and you know, it was the same mistakes he made in Brains versus Bronze versus Beauty, but you know, because he won, a lot of people found that to be some sort of flawless game, and you know, it just didn't work this time. It pretty much had the impact I thought it would. Yeah, that's basically everything I think about Game Changers. Very underwhelmed overall, not a whole lot to say. I am happy that Sandra's doing well. I am blown away that she made it through the first 2 tribal councils that she had to go to. So I'm hoping she can do a little bit better. Again, not expecting her to last much longer, but we'll see. She's surprising me more and more every time I watch her play. So let's see what happens. And after watching episode 1 and thinking on it, my top 3 picks for the winner as of this time, in order from first to third, is Andrea, Aubrey, and Zeke. Hope you guys are enjoying the season, and I'll see you guys next Rankdown video.